Hello everyone, welcome to Oblivion. This week on the program, I think we have a demon haunting the studio, you guys. We're talking about 2007's Paranormal Activity. I'm Dusty Lane.
I'm Nick Cummins.
And I'm Jason Mitchell.
And we are the Cinebytes.
Hello?
I came for you. We have such sights to show you.
It was an excellent day for an exorcism.
I said, I'm not gonna hurt you. I'm just gonna bash your brains in.
I want to play a game.
What's the boogeyman?
As a matter of fact, it was. This is God.
We all go a little mad sometimes. Haven't you?
But sometimes, that is better.
Once again, thank you for joining us, everybody. This week, we are talking about 2007's Oren Peli masterpiece, writer and director Oren Peli, Paranormal Activity, obviously. This was kind of a viral sensation when it came out.
Yeah, I remember this going around the high school. This did hit in a time where I wasn't really watching horror movies, but I remember all of my friends went to see it at the local theater that weekend. Like, dude, did you see that new Paranormal Activity movie? I had to sleep with the lights on all week.
Can you believe those were real people?
Yeah. It's the new Blair Witch.
Yeah.
Yeah, Nick hit it with that for sure. This movie was so huge when it came out, and I feel like anytime you heard a noise or a bump in the night now, they had you scared. They did a really great job with this one.
Not to mention, I don't know what it is, but I'm a sucker for a found footage movie.
I like found footage too. Like, people like to shit on found footage, but like, it adds a level of realism and takes out that suspension of disbelief a little bit. Mm-hmm. Like, make me believe this actually happened.
For sure. I don't know if I mentioned runtime of 86 minutes, which, dude, that's all you need for something like this. We're in, we're out, we see what we need to see. That's all we got.
I wanted to note, so he hasn't directed anything else. Oren Peli.
Has he not?
No, he's produced like a bunch of horror movies, but I was going through his IMDb, and this is the only thing he ever directed. That's first Paranormal Activity.
He kind of knew what he was doing with that, maybe, because you have your first offering to the horror world, and then you can just kind of sit back and let everybody rest on your laurels, kind of thing. Him and Jason Blum, as a matter of fact. This is another Blumhouse. Got two Blumhouse movies in a row here. Yeah, obviously R rating due to the content. Our setting here is in San Diego, California. Take us through the plot here, real quick, Nick.
Mika and Katie are finally moving in together. They're taking that next step in their relationship, and there's not a whole lot of substance to the plot. I mean, they're moving in together, they love each other, but Katie's coming with some baggage.
Yeah, a little bit.
It might be an understatement here, boys.
Honestly, at the beginning of the movie, we get a quick tour of the house after that opening title card, and then Katie shows up, and then we just get, this is a new house. I got a camera, and we have yet to figure out why we have the camera, but we'll get to that pretty quick.
Yeah.
Oh, I feel like one of the most important things to note here is that the movie starts off with a little thank you to the families,
right,
to the police department, because we're putting in that found footage, this is real
kind
of thing happening, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Paramount Pictures would like to thank the families, blah, blah, blah. Mention real quick the cast of characters here. We've got Katie Featherston as herself. I don't think it ever says the last names at all in this. Katie Featherston as herself. She's a student working to be an English teacher. Mika Sloat, not Sloan, Sloat, also as himself. He's a day trader, whatever the fuck that is. Whatever it is, it's good enough for him to have a badass house and not really do a whole lot, it seems. He's just kind of kicking it all the time.
He's got like a 4 or 5 bedroom house all to himself before Katie moves in.
Yeah, and he's not ever really doing anything. Like, we get a glimpse into it. He's got like the coin net shirt. I guess that must be his thing.
2007's version of Bitcoin.
Yeah.
He's an investor almost.
He's a stock trader, yeah.
Stock trader, yeah. He's probably doing a little bit of side gigs, like he's playing online poker and shit.
Right. Yeah, well,
he's just that kind of dude.
Obviously enough time to take a look at footage from every single night as soon as he wakes up and stuff. So yeah, it's
he also mentions, oh, hey, does your psychic have any information for me so I can bet on the horses? Haven't done that in a while.
Right. Yes. He's got a lot of free time, and hey, thank God. That's why we got the movie, right?
Mm-hmm. We got Mark Fredericks in here as Dr. Fredericks. He's the psychic that shows up. A couple of other randoms. We got Amber, played by Amber Armstrong, as Katie's friend. Diane, who we find out through that website later, played by Ashley Palmer. We have the demon as himself. And we have Mika's feet as themselves. These fucking things are out of control, man.
They show up so much.
Every 30 seconds. And close-ups, too. Mm-hmm. Good God.
Before the feet selling. The feet pic selling phenomenon.
Oh, my God. Did he start this? He was on the internet a lot. And
Or in Pell. That's why.
I honestly don't get... Like, if you're walking around your house with your shoes and your socks off, great, fine, whatever. It's your house, you know.
Oh, that's me.
Yeah.
You're lucky I have my shoes on right now.
I fucking kick them off if you want. I don't care. But the thing is, walking around your house in your naked feet with jeans, that causes problems, I feel like. For me, anyway, it has. Man, all right, fuck. I'm just gonna go fuck myself. I'm the weirdo. Okay.
You're the weird one here. I don't like shoes or socks. So my shoes and socks are off all the time.
Who wears jeans at home is the next question.
That's the thing. Yeah. You guys, I'm sorry.
I think I'm the weird one. I think you guys are actually the normal ones because I get up for the day, I put my jeans on, and I'm in jeans till I go to bed.
Okay.
No way.
I was gonna say you guys are both here in jeans. We're recording at my house. Yeah, I got some jammies on. I got some little jammer pants. And that's probably the way it'll be more often than not.
Dusty
honestly.
shows up in his Sunday comfies.
Why the hell not? It is
Yeah.
Sunday after all.
Coming over in basketball shorts next time.
Do it up. It's going to be a little cold, but so yeah, we got our opening title card, and then Mika pops out. We do have a quick tour, Mika with his camcorder of the house, just showing all of our locations that are going to be relevant later, basically. And then Katie pulls into the driveway in her cute little convertible, already bitching about his camcorder. She's like, "How much did you spend on that?" And you know, part of it's kind of like, don't worry about it. He mentions, "Oh, I spent about half of what I make in a day." So fuck it, whatever. You
Yeah,
know?
for him, he
Leave
doesn't
him-
need to worry about how much he spent on it.
Leave him and his camcorder alone.
Well, I think it's more than a camcorder because she mentions how big it is.
Yeah, when I say camcorder, I guess I suppose that puts a mental image of like the little handheld with the flippy outy screen.
Yeah.
We're talking a big like studio
He's
camera.
got a studio
it's got
camera.
a big ass light on top of it. A mic sticking out. So
He's got better equipment than we do. Right now.
he came to play, man. So Katie comes inside. He asks her to kiss the camera. She's like, no, I'll kiss you. Basically, that's all we really need for our little introduction here. They've moved into a new house, and we haven't even gotten into the reason for the camcorder yet, but it doesn't really take long. There's a scene in the beginning where I thought it was kind of a pointed reference to the end of the movie. I don't even remember what it is they're talking about, but he's like kind of waving a knife around as he's doing it. And this guy's a douchebag. Can I just put it out there? I fucking hate Mika.
Oh, yeah. I wrote down at first, I was like, oh, Mika, the lovable, like, douchebag.
Lovable my ass.
And then, like, so, like I said, this is the first time I'm watching this, and I'm like, oh no, I fucking hate this guy. Like, by like 20 minutes in, I fucking hated Mika.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, for sure. He's a douche. Katie mentions at some point early on here that things have been happening to her since she was 8. So we're starting to lay the groundwork of, okay, she's stalked, haunted by this entity, doesn't know what the hell's going on, but we're not delving too deeply into anything yet. Mika and this fucking camera just all the time with this thing. I don't know what the fuck they're eating. They're like sitting at their island, I think it is. They're both sitting in chairs like kind of facing the same direction, which is a little strange. But he says dinny time.
He's
And
just
it looks
a child.
like, what the fuck do they have on these plates? It looks like pizza and mashed potatoes or something.
Yeah, it was just like, I think I wrote down slop for dinner.
But yeah, he's always got this camera going on. Shortly after that little spot, he wants to do a little camera test, and he's like making her whisper and stuff, and she's like, hey, I'm whispering. And he's like, no, you're not whispering. Okay, that's a whisper. Yep, successful camera test. Great, your equipment works. But otherwise, they're a shitty couple. I don't really buy them together.
Yeah, I think the fact that they don't have chemistry together on screen works because they're a bad couple, right? Like, she's constantly like on him about shit that really like doesn't matter, like trivial stuff, and then he's just constantly putting the camera in her face. He's making like offhand comments like, "Come on, Katie, like fuck off."
Yeah.
Like,
Other than a superficial physical connection,
yeah,
they don't really have it.
yeah, they like to touch each other a lot. They do that.
Mm-hmm.
But outside of that, it's just like, I don't buy that these two are moving in together.
Yeah.
It feels like something to where, you've been with somebody for a long time and you get comfortable. That's the feeling that I got. Like, yeah, they get along. Yeah, they don't get along. But I feel like that's almost kind of typical in America, too,
Yeah, I can see that too. Katie at the beginning here, I think she's talking about like the whole thing that she's dealing with, and she's sitting at her little bead table. We'll get more of that later. They're both coming from different standpoints on this because Mika just wants to provoke this fucking thing. Katie absolutely does not because she's actually experienced the shit, you know?
Katie's dealt with this since she was a kid, and Mika's, I wrote down that he was a skeptic. Like, he was just like, yeah, sure, stuff's happening in the house.
He's just such a bro. He's such a surface level,
He's a frat
what
bro.
you see is what you got. He's definitely a frat bro. I guarantee he was in a frat. Mm-hmm. At one point, he's kind of sitting around playing guitar, and he fucking sucks in this first. As a musician, I'm like, what the fuck is that? Dude?
Why is he strumming the guitar?
He wasn't even strumming. He was like kind of like playing a little lead, but none of the notes made sense together. I don't know. I just assumed he was kind of bullshit and thought he could play guitar and really couldn't. There is a scene later where he's actually kind of... He's pretty decent, actually. So while he's playing guitar, they're kind of sitting on the couch one night, and they start hearing a ticking noise, and oh, here we go. Now we're finally putting the ambiance out here of, oh shit, maybe there's something in the house. But then they find out, oh, it's just the ice maker.
Or is it?
Or is it?
Because the other thing, the one thing I want to jump in with, like right away, and I noticed it more dramatically later, but like there's no score in this movie.
No, none whatsoever.
The found footage aspect of, like, even some found footage movies I've seen have a little bit of, like, music cues, and they get fun with how they put that in there.
Yeah.
But there's none. And so, like, when it's silent, it's fucking dead silent.
Yeah, and I think that was a good choice because there are still some sound design things happening in this.
Yeah.
Like every time we're in that shot of the bedroom, and the entity comes, we hear this like loud hum,
right?
All of a sudden, and the sound design on this movie is great,
Oh,
regardless of the fact that there's not a score. Mm-hmm. Speaking of that bedroom shot, this is the first time that they set up the camera in the bedroom. Mika's always talking about his cool tech shit, and yeah, we get that first title card, night number 1, 9/18/06, at about 11:30 or so at night.
He makes the fucking dumbass comment, like, yeah, if this works out, maybe we can use the camera for other things.
Mm-hmm. They go to bed at around 11:30, and then at about 2:08, that's when we get the loud hum, the running footsteps. But yeah, to your point, he's trying to make a sex tape in like half of this movie.
Yeah, the whole time he's just like, hey, you want a bone? You want a bone? Hey,
I
babe,
mean, what else would you do with a high-end camera?
Right. But he's also still trying to be cutesy about it, and he's like, extracurricular activities. He says that like 3 or 4 times.
Yeah, and he always says the phrase extracurricular activities.
Right.
I guess you just don't purchase an expensive camera normally in hopes of finding some demon in your house, So.
But that is why he purchased the camera. That's what we end up finding out. That is the purpose of this camera in this movie. Oh, I bought it so we can, record ourselves at night in case anything's happening. We got it on film. But then he's just doing all this other goofy shit with it. He's got it with him all the fucking time.
Right.
Taking video, feet pics.
Every 10 minutes, he's like, hey, babe, want to make a sex tape?
Hey, can I see your feet?
Huh?
What toenail polish do you have on today?
Oh, yeah, he's making comments about that, too. So, yeah, this first shot of them in bed, did we get a little bit of the time lapse, or does it just cut to 2:08 a.m.?
No, it fast forwards through the time. It's like, It shows they lay down, and I forget which, I didn't write the times down. I just wrote like night 1, night 2.
Kind of setting up that running gag.
But yeah, it does. It says like 11:38, and it's just like, it fast forwards till we hear the humming.
Okay. So yeah, it kicks back in to regular time, and then we hear this loud hum come. We're like, well, what the fuck is this? It's like almost electrical interference.
Right.
And that's when, that's that first night. Nothing much is really happening. We just hear some running footsteps in the background, which obviously is creepy to us. There's not supposed to be anybody else in the house. But then we just kind of hear some keys clatter a little bit, and then that's it.
Yeah, I think this is where they're not really listening in like they are later. This first night you hear some steps, and I almost think it goes unheard. Because they don't notice until the next morning.
When he's checking the footage, yeah.
He's checking the footage, but Katie also finds her keys misplaced. Her keys were
they dropped, the keys are in the middle of the floor in the kitchen.
In the middle of the floor.
In the middle of the floor.
Shameless plug for Dusty's music.
So, yeah, we cut back to the morning, and we've got Mika in his coin net shirt, close-up of that, and then Katie's downstairs. She goes, hey, Mika, what the fuck is this? Why are my keys in the middle of the floor? Not a whole lot comes of that. They cut to some pool time outside. Not a whole lot comes of that either. It's just kind of showing them in their element.
Yeah.
Katie ends up taking the camera. She mentions at that point that a psychic is coming.
And he immediately poo-poos it.
Yeah, Mika's just making a joke out of it all the entire time.
It's like, oh, great. Now you called the psychic. What's he going to tell me? What I'm going to have for breakfast tomorrow? Like,
yeah. Turns out the psychic is a little bit late, so he's like, oh, well, you thought you'd think he could foresee that the traffic's going to be bad or something. Like,
Hey, I think I agree with that, though, you know?
No, that doesn't work like that. Get out of here.
I get shit all the time because, like, I fully believe in ghosts. Like you said, like, the first thing that happens in this house is, like, the footsteps running. I've legitimately heard shit like that in my grandparents' house. Like, but I don't believe in psychics whatsoever. I used to give my ex-girlfriend shit about that because I don't believe in psychics at all.
I kind of ride the line between that shit because, like, I don't know, I'm not religious, but I have had experiences that are a little too coincidental to be coincidence. Mm-hmm. I kind of tell people, like, having a premonition is a weird fucking experience that, like, I know that when I experienced this before, it was in a dream. I was sleeping. Like, I can almost look at my body sleeping. This is what was going on in my mind. Now it's happening in front of my eyes. And it's always the most inconsequential bullshit. Like, it doesn't make any difference to any, like, it's not like I can tell lottery numbers or anything like that. It's just, I'm staring at the cupboard and I noticed this pattern in the wood grain, and okay, that was my whole fucking premonition. Great. That's not useful at all.
The only thing I've ever had that was like that is the weirdest thing is I had a dream about what the cover of the Jim Carrey series of Unfortunate Events movie was going to be. And then, like, the poster was released later, and it was exactly what I saw in my dream.
Holy shit.
That's the only thing I've ever had of that, but I was just like, I probably saw the poster. Like, I just dismissed it immediately.
Right. Because what do you do about it? You know?
Right. Like,
that happened, now it's over.
I'm not Will Byers from Stranger Things here. I can't do anything cool.
So they're talking to this psychic, right? Dr. Fredericks. They tell him that they've been together for 3 years. He's telling them that more often than not, we're going to be able to explain this away in a simple fashion. Maybe it's pipes, maybe it's rats, maybe it's something like that. But we do have the distinction where it's like, this has followed Katie around for years. She mentions sharing a room with her younger sister, Christy, who, remember that name, she's going to come back in this franchise. Katie says that when she was a kid, breathing would wake her up in the middle of the night, and she would wake up to see a shadowy mass standing at the foot of her bed, and it was always at Katie's bed. It was never at Christy's, but Christy did see it.
She's seeing the Hat Man.
Right.
Yeah.
They said they heard their names whispered, too.
Mm-hmm.
That was part of it.
Yeah. There was...
That gave me chills.
Oh,
Right.
yeah.
Like, you're hearing, like, distinguishable things about yourself. That's when it's like, all right, you need to take a chill pill, Ghost.
Right. She mentions a house fire where they lost everything and then they moved. This is important for later. The fire is never explained, but she says from 13, things would start to happen on and off, and in the past few weeks, they've been happening again. We've got lights flickering, faucets are turning on and off, we've got banging, scratching going on. I was surprised that Mika didn't make a joke at this next part, because they go upstairs, and Dr. Fredericks, I don't know why I keep calling him Mr., he says... most activity is in the bedroom, it seems like. You know, I kind of expected Mika to be like, fuck yeah, it is.
I was waiting for the joke as well.
But he doesn't. She mentions the whispering, calling her name, and all that stuff. And then this is when Mika does take over. Douchebag comes up and starts presenting his cool electronic setup here. He's all proud of it.
He's just like, yeah, this is my mic. This is the camera. I spent a lot of money on the camera.
Mm-hmm. The psychic mentions that these entities tend to feed on negative energy. And then, yeah, Mika does throw in a little joke here, as he's wont to do. He's like, oh, I guess your mom can't come over anymore, babe. No negative energy.
Man, I have great in-laws. he's just like, oh, your mom can't come over. And I'm like, man,
you son of a bitch.
Yeah, well, fuck you, man. Like, my in-laws can come over whenever they want.
So the psychic senses that there's something in the house. However, he has a whole conversation about ghosts versus demons, humans versus non-human. You can't run from this. So I'm going to give you a number for a demonologist, Dr. Johann Averies. Mika immediately is against this plan. He's like, all right, we're already dealing with this fucking psychic bullshit. I don't want to call it an exorcist. He keeps calling it too.
Yeah, he doesn't even refer to it as like an actual term. He's like, we don't need to call it the exorcist.
Mika mentions wanting to get a Ouija board. And he's like, well, why don't we just talk to it and we'll give it what it wants? And the psychic gives him the greatest fucking look. He's like, you're a fucking moron.
Yeah, he looks at him
is
like
what he
he's
wanted
the
to say.
stupidest person in the world.
Yeah, and he goes, I don't think that's a good idea because if you communicate with it via the Ouija board, that's basically opening the door. You want to give it what it wants. What it wants is Katie.
Right.
He's trying to tell him, like, dude, do you love this girl? Because you're going to lose her if you keep doing shit like this.
And he's staring at him for a minute like, do you understand me? I need you to look at me and tell me you understand me. I hope that you do.
Doc Frederick's the only adult in the room.
Yeah. He's like, this ain't no bullshit, man. Like, you're fucking around with things you don't understand. I'm trying to help you understand it, but this isn't even my area of expertise. Call this guy. Maybe he can help you.
I will say, just a stupid funny aside, he says it so fast, like 3 times in a row. I thought he kept saying Dr. Ovaries. And I laughed, audibly laughed the first time I heard him. I'm like, that can't be right. And then I finally read the subtitle and it was Avery's.
OBGYN turned demonologist. So the psychic leaves, and immediately, no sooner does the fucking door close, Mika's like, what a fruit. And she's like, can you not be completely fucking rude to him? Like,
yeah, the
quit being
guy's
an asshole.
probably still on the porch at this point.
Yeah, I guarantee he heard that shit. And he's like, we're already dealing with the psychic. I'm not going to put up with a legion of Jesus freaks. Okay. Katie goes, well, if it gets worse, I'm fucking calling. Mark my words.
I feel like Mika really needed to have seen a few horror movies before this because he is doing everything wrong.
Yeah,
Everything.
I did have right. I wrote down, Mika's the stupidest guy I've ever met.
He does mention at one point, speaking of the rules of horror, he does say, I'll be right back at some point.
Should have known better. I feel like...
yeah, dude, Scream was out at this time.
Just one horror movie prior, and he would have had a complete 180 on his attitude.
Right.
He lives a sheltered life, Jason. Leave him alone.
So we cut back to, this is that, I guess this would be the second night.
I have it. It cuts to night 3, actually.
It does cut to night 3, that's right.
Yeah, they skip days here. The second sighting of their home footage, but night 3 of them being in the house.
The first couple of times they do that, it's like every other night for a minute, and then it's
It's
longer
like 1,
increments
3,
of time.
5. Yeah, and then
Yeah,
it's
1,
like
3,
14.
5, 10, 17, yeah. We cut back to Mika trying to fuck with the camera on again. And Katie's like, no, it's not going to happen.
And this time it's right in her face. He's like kissing her neck.
Yeah, he's like, oh, it's 10 minutes. That's all I need. And she's like, okay.
So I think she says that's generous.
Yeah. He actually does turn it off, and they fuck. And he turns the camera back on. He's like, well, what we just did, I think, is illegal in Kentucky and probably 4 or 5 other states or whatever. This girl is an animal.
Oh, Katie.
Cool, Mika. Like, who are you going to show this to? Who are you talking to? Who's your audience?
It's just him.
That you want to tell people about. Like, you think he's the only one that's ever going to be watching these, or is he going to try to show them to his buddies?
Oh, well, he's going to because he's a douchebag.
Right.
He's going to be showing it. He's just like, yeah, guys, check out this move I did. You know, but no, he's just the ultimate fucking tool. Yeah. Look at my girlfriend.
Exactly. Yeah. My girlfriend is important.
He probably wouldn't even say my girlfriend. He'd be like, look at my girl.
Yeah.
Like he's the type of guy to do shit like that.
My property kind of a thing.
Yeah.
And we'll find out in a couple of minutes here. Yeah, he definitely makes comments like that all the fucking time. So yeah, we cut to night number 3, which is September 20th, 2006. And this is where we get time lapse until 2008, until 2:08 a.m. again. Same time. We get the hum, we get the scratching, and then this time there's a little bit, they ramp it up just a little bit. The door moves out a little bit, and then it just moves right back.
Mm-hmm. Well, when we hear the hum this time, we do hear a growl.
Oh, did we?
The growl in night 3, it says it's low humming, and then you hear like a and it's like it sounds kind of like it definitely could be an animal outside, and that's how he's probably going to take it.
Probably.
But like you as the audience are sitting there like, oh fuck, Katie's onto something here. This is not. He said the demonologist. All right, ghosts don't growl.
Right.
Yeah. So we do the time lapse again, but it's just until morning when Mika's alarm goes off, and it's at 6:14. What kind of fucking time is that to wake up? 6
didn't
o'clock,
notice.
sure. 6:30, sure. Even 6:15 is like a regular time people might set an alarm for, but 6:14, you lunatic? Okay. So he reviews the footage this next morning, and he shows her that the door moves in and out. He's like, I told you the camera was a good idea. This is the part where Katie starts to kind of buy into that. He mentions at this point, oh yeah, let's get that ghost back, which I don't know what the fuck that's supposed to mean.
He starts to just antagonize the shit out of the ghost with everything he's saying.
Right. Katie just wants it to go away.
He turns into Zach Baggins.
Yeah, Katie realizes that this isn't nothing and mentions something about not wanting the ghosts to get upset about them recording them and essentially,
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Essentially.
So a little bit later in the day, Mika's playing his fucking guitar again. Go figure. This is the part where I was like, all right, he's got some skill. Not that I want to give him any benefit of any doubt.
No endearing qualities to Mika.
While he's playing guitar, Katie starts screaming. And it's a pretty, like, visceral fucking scream.
She's terrified.
And he starts running away and then gives it a second thought and then comes back and grabs the camera. And he's got to take the camera for every little thing.
Oh my God. Katie's like, you fucking went to grab the camera first?
Right. But also he responds with, okay, will you scream like that for a spider? It's just a big fuzzy spider on the floor.
I scream like that for a spider.
This is the first night that Mika starts talking to the demon, talking shit to it. He's like, tell me the point of this. Like, you just moved the door out? Like, you got nothing. Like, this guy's a fucking idiot.
Definitely don't want to antagonize the evil spirit in your house.
No.
He's never seen Evil Dead.
He's obviously not taking any of it seriously. He defends himself and mentions that he is a couple of times, but no, everyone can see directly through your bullshit. And I don't know why Katie didn't leave his ass. I don't know how long before this.
The second day she moved in.
Right.
After he was, like, just belittling the help the second he walked out the door.
Mm-hmm. And Mika is in bed. He says he was doing research and he's going to get to the bottom of this. But he's got this cool demon book.
That book looks sweet.
I want to check out this book. Yeah. But he's like, I'm going to get to the bottom of this. Katie says it doesn't feel human, just like Dr. Frederick said.
Maybe.
And it feels like it wants to hurt me.
Yeah. She's like really starting to like sense something's off. This is the first time she's like, maybe we should call Dr. Avery's.
And he's not helping the case because he jumps in with, well, that kind of makes sense with demons then, babe, because, demons are malevolent spirits that only exist to cause pain. But it's pretty cool we're getting this shit on tape, right?
Everything goes back to the footage.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe that's the frat bro in him. He's just all like, well, I'm going to make more money off of this if I get to catch a ghost on camera, catch a demon on camera.
I mean, I guess, but I don't know. Help your girl out. At least
Oh
be
no, he
more
doesn't
convincing.
give a fuck about her. He just cares about money.
Yeah, and having her to display.
Yeah.
But she mentions again, well, if things get worse, I don't want to fuck around with the camera anymore. I think this is antagonizing it, and I don't want to. I'm the one this thing is after. You're putting me in danger by doing that. Mika mentions at this point that, all right, well, I have some say in what we do here because you didn't tell me about this shit before we moved in together.
Fucking gaslighting the shit out of her here.
But here's the deal, man. This is the one thing he was right about, I think. She was like, oh, what am I supposed to tell you on our first date? Like, oh, I'm haunted by a demon. He was like, well, no, but on our 15th date or our 30th date or certainly before we fucking moved in together. And I'm like, all right, you got a point there.
Probably the only thing he was right about this whole movie, really.
That's what I thought. Yeah, for sure. Otherwise, fuck Mika.
Details.
We go to night number 5, September 22nd, 2006. Before we go to the shot of the bedroom, Mika mentions all the doors and windows are locked. The alarm is set, and Katie's like, you're a dumb shit. It doesn't matter. It's already in the house. It doesn't care about locked doors and windows, you fuck.
Creepy. It's already here.
But then 2:55
I thought that was
a.m.
a great line.
Yeah.
Just like, it doesn't fucking care. It's in the house
Doesn't
already.
matter.
It
It's
moved
already
the door.
with us. Yeah.
Jason, real quick, I love every once in a while you just chime in with creepy. It's happened in every episode so far. That's going to be one of our first t-shirts, I'm telling you. 2:55 a.m. The hum comes back. Katie jolts awake and mentions that she hasn't had a nightmare. And while she's talking to Mika about it, and he's kind of trying to comfort her, there's a big bang in the background, and you're like, oh fuck, what's going on here? Mika grabs the camera to go investigate, and Katie's like begging him, don't go out there, please, please God. He ends up handing the camera to Katie, and she follows him downstairs, and he's like, anyone down here? As if anyone's gonna answer that fucking question. And then he's back to talking shit. He's like, this all you got? Come on, you piece of shit. You worthless ass demon. Do something.
And then we fucking hear that just disgruntled screech sound.
Oh, is that here? Because is this where they come down and after the bang, they come downstairs and they see the chandelier swinging?
Mm-hmm. And then they hear the screech.
Fuck. Okay. So Katie just wants them to stop fucking antagonizing it. They end up going back to bed, finally calming down. And then we cut to the next day. And now we get Now we get the famous bead time scene. Katie and Amber are sitting there messing with beads. They like to be crafty. They're all about beads. And it does. There's a part in, I think, part 3 maybe, where there's a babysitter shows up. And young Katie, like 8-year-old Katie, is like, let me show you my new beads. So this isn't a new thing. This is ever since childhood. She's been into the bead thing.
What's she making with those beads?
Crafts? I don't know.
I meant
bracelets?
Is it like... having not seen any of the sequels, but Jason like piped up like, oh, the beads make sense. So I was just like, is she like handing out ghost bracelets? Like, you know, you make friendship bracelets. Katie makes
We're
possession.
just gaslighting you like Mika was gaslighting
Oh,
Katie.
yeah, well, it wouldn't be the first time.
So Mika ends up like fucking coming down and he's got the camera in these girls' faces and he's like, hey, I want to show you about this thing. Like, stop talking about your stupid beads and having your girl time. I'm trying to show you this thing that I found. And, like, what the fuck? And Katie's like, well, hey, now, you don't need to be an asshole about it.
We're doing our project.
Yeah, we just want to have some time away from this. We're trying to escape it a little bit. Let's talk about some different shit for a minute. I don't need your fucking camera in my face 1,000% of the time.
This is the one part I identified with Mika, because I'm the same way when I have something new or like I have something exciting. I'm just like, let me tell you about this thing, okay? Like,
Right.
I'm super ready to tell you about it, and I'm going to ramble about it for a half an hour.
Right.
And so that's me. I'm like, anytime I try to talk to my wife about Star Wars.
Right. And the thing that Mika wants to show them is this like demonic whispering he catches on this isn't on the camera, this is on the EVP. Immediately his answer is, let's get a Ouija board. And both the girls think it's a terrible idea. And he's just like, what? I don't understand. Like, let me do my thing. Like, eventually he promises that he won't buy a Ouija board, which is important. And then he goes right back to talking shit about the demon. I fucking can't stand it.
Every single time he talks shit.
Oh, God.
The only thing I can think about is just Zach Baggins and Ghost Adventures. He's like, get out of here. I'm going to fight the ghost.
Yeah, come on, bro. What you got? Like, oh my God.
Mika is
Insufferable.
Zach Baggins.
So now we cut all the way to night number 13. It's September 30th, 2006. 3:13 a.m. rolls around, and footsteps wake Katie up. At this point, Mika wakes up as well. Katie hears something, and then we end up getting this fucking demonic scream and the huge bang, which obviously freaks him out. This is actually where the chandelier is swinging downstairs. They're looking around. He's trying to talk to the demon again. She loses him for a second. He's like, oh, I'm over here, babe. Just trying to, weekly surface level sort of comfort her. They end up going back to bed, still kind of hearing things. Both of them are a little fucked up at this point.
Yeah, I think sorry.
No, you're okay.
I was just going to say, like, this is the moment where Mika truly is like, okay, shit. Like, might not be a ghost. Maybe I should chill out a little bit.
Everything's getting a little too real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A little too intense.
He can't dismiss it the way he could everything else leading up to this point.
Right. I think the chandelier moving like that was, hey, this isn't just a noise in the house. There's actually something here.
That would have freaked me the fuck out.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Fucking stuff moving, I'm out.
Huge, heavy chandelier.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then I believe they checked at this point, and it's like, still no doors or windows messed with. Nothing is out of place in the house or anything like
alarms
that. No alarm.
Off.
Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe I missed something. So I wrote down on my note that was night 15, and the night 13 was where Katie woke up just like out of nowhere. She heard a small noise.
15 is coming up soon. That is night 13 with the chandelier swinging.
Okay.
That's what I got to.
Okay. So then 15 is what I was just about to mention.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Mika keeps telling her like, "Oh, we're getting golden shit on this camcorder, babe. Like, we can't get rid of this." She wants to get rid of the camera. He's like, "We can't. This is awesome. This is gonna be our, meal ticket or whatever."
This
I don't know
is
what
golden
the fuck he's
goose.
thinking. I guess, even though he makes plenty of fucking money. This is where he does his little EVP experiment, and he's like, again, like indirectly talking shit to the ghost or the demon, and he's like, hey, can you like say something to me in English, please? What is your quest? What is your favorite color? Let's just talk about the dumbest shit, because I'm not taking this seriously. When he reviews that, he does pick up a growl on it, for sure.
Yeah, it's right after he asks if they would rather talk through the Ouija board.
Mm-hmm.
And he gets a growl back on his EVP.
Yeah. Okay, that's a good catch. So before they go to bed, Katie's like, let's watch a movie. She doesn't want to go to sleep because she knows as soon as she does, there's probably going to be some shit going down.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And now we get to night number 15. This is October 2nd, 2006 at 1:35 a.m. We get the hum coming back, like always, and then Katie sits up like a fucking creep, like Undertaker style.
Like fucking Dracula from his coffin.
Yeah, dude. I just couldn't help but seeing like Undertaker when like, oh, somebody did something that knocked him out, but then all of a sudden he's like, sits straight up. Legs don't move or anything. He just sits right up, which is hard as shit to do. I don't know if you've ever tried it. She's kind of disoriented, and she stands up, and she's, kind of taking a couple of steps around, and then she just stands there staring at Mika for 2 fucking hours.
Yep.
Yeah, we get the time lapse, fast forwards.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 2 hours.
That's insane.
With no explanation either.
Her just like kind of wobbling back and forth.
Right.
Like she's not moving.
Yeah.
But like her body is just kind of like rocking.
And
almost.
it's a weird image seeing through the time lapse. It's
Yeah.
like, jerky fast motion kind of stuff, which that shit always freaks me out in horror movies too. Ever since I was a kid.
The jerky fastness of things. Yeah. I don't like it either.
Just
It feels unnatural. Yep.
Mm-hmm. She walks downstairs at this point, and when she walks downstairs, the hum leaves with her.
Yep.
Which is important. Mika then wakes up alone, and he finds her outside on a swing, and she doesn't want to come back in. She's just like, go away. And this is the part where he starts to kind of lose it, where he's like, oh, I'm sick of this stupid shit. This is crazy. Why are you acting crazy?
She doesn't seem like herself. Like this is the point where you're like, oh shit, Katie's starting to be possessed.
Yeah, she absolutely is not herself, and that's confirmed by the end of this scene. He comes back and he's like, it's freezing, why don't you have any clothes on? Like, I'm gonna go in and get some blankets and whatever. He comes back in. That's when we hear another big bang upstairs. They're both downstairs, and then we hear like the TV static start to go. Like he walks upstairs and the TV's on all of a sudden in their bedroom. And when he turns back around, Katie's just standing there.
Fucking right there. I will say this got me.
That was a good jump scare.
Jumped, yeah.
Yeah, she's just standing behind him suddenly. She doesn't remember any of it. And then, he delivers that line again. He's like, why are you crazy like this? Like, that's real fucking helpful, Mika.
Fucking hate Mika. Like, I don't have anything other than that to say about him. Every time he opens his big dumb mouth and he fucking gaslights his girlfriend, I'm just like, I want to hit this guy in the mouth.
So like he can't wait until the next day when he's like talking to her about it, and he's like, well, all right, so this is all the shit that happened. You don't remember any of this? And she's like, well, no, all I remember is having gruesome nightmares.
Yep, nightmares.
Mika drops the line at this point. He was like, well, pay attention to all the movies, babe. Bringing in an exorcist always makes it worse. Like, we can't get an exorcist. Nobody said fucking exorcist, asshole. We just want to study this and try to figure out what's going on.
He also makes like, he like continues to just be like, well, have you ever sleptwalked before? Like he talks about that, and like, he's trying to like make himself believe there's nothing going on.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And quit name dropping one of the greatest movies of all time, which I think, spoiler alert, that might be our next episode. Anyway, so this is where he busts out the fucking Ouija board.
Katie loses her mind.
A super fucking cool Ouija board, by the way.
The nicest Ouija board I've ever seen.
Katie actually says that line verbatim.
She's does she?
She's like, yeah, you pull out the fucking best Ouija board I've ever seen.
Oh.
She's like, I told you I didn't want one, and now you get the fucking highest quality one you possibly could.
I didn't buy one. That's what I said.
It's supposed to be date night, which we get weird exposition from Katie coming down the stairs. She's like, oh, I can't wait to go out on the to town, get out of this house, hang out with my boyfriend. This is what we're doing, audience. Did you hear what I said? It's date night. We're going to leave.
Yeah.
A little clunky. But yeah, he's downstairs with the Ouija board, and she's pissed. She's immediately so mad. He's like, I promised I wouldn't buy a Ouija board. I borrowed this one. And he's like, babe, chill. She's all pissed off. She's like, all right, I don't give a fuck what you do. I'm getting out of here. I'm going out. I had this planned. You can come with me or you can stay your fucking ass here. I'm getting out of here. What are you going to do? It's like 7:30 at this point.
Yeah, either come with or stay home and play with the ghosts.
Right.
So Mika goes.
Mm-hmm. So right after they leave, like seconds after they leave, here comes the loud hum again. We hear that on the camera. More footsteps, and then we get wind blowing through the living room, which is like blowing all the curtains and plants around. And then...
An intense wind, yeah. It's like the
Super
plants
intense.
are really like moving.
Yeah. And then the planchette on the board starts to move, and the board fucking catches fire, at which point it doesn't like, start a fire in the house or anything, but starts a fire on the board. The footsteps then retreat. And then, as soon as they get home, Mika goes right back to the fucking board, and Katie's pissed off all over again.
Oh, yeah. Just can't let it go, can he?
She's like, whatever, man, I'll take care of it myself. Obviously, you're not fucking helping.
He's like, I am helping. I'm talking to it.
Well, he sees these symbols on the board, and he's like, yelling up at her. He's like, babe, can you come down here and help me figure out what this means? And, dude, she has the greatest fucking moment, because, like, she has already slammed the door and gone to bed. She opens the door back up. She walks out and just kind of leans over the railing and looks down at him. And she's like, I don't give a fuck what that thing says on the board. And then she just walks back and slams the door again. It's so good.
Good for her. Finally standing up for herself.
Yeah. She keeps telling him to get the fuck out of the room when he tries to come up. And then he walks away and he's like, I think she's pissed. Yeah? Do
No
ya?
shit. You've been an absolute asshole all night.
Very
Oh my God.
apparent.
And did the one thing she told you definitely don't do.
So, as an apology for this, she then makes him film himself swearing to abide by her rules.
Just to come to bed. I fucking love this scene.
Yeah. So, yeah, he has to take it twice, and finally she's like, yeah, I guess that'll fucking do, whatever.
Well, she doesn't. She calls him out. I fucking love it. She's like, with a little bit of sincerity.
Yeah, well, because he delivers it, and then he's like, okay, is that good enough?
Sorry, I
Like,
will
he
abide
can't
by
stand-
Katie's rules. Yeah.
He can't stand yielding to her in any fucking moment because he's the man.
Yep.
Like, fuck you, dude. Anyway, the next day, he's online and he's studying, or no, I'm sorry. He's not online. The next day, he's studying the tape and trying to figure out where the planchette is moving around on the board. And he's like, no, okay, I think it's like these letters here. Maybe is it like, do you know someone named like Adina or Diane or something like that? She doesn't recognize anything. She goes and talks to her friend Amber. They're just kind of talking about the whole situation. And he's like, all right, well, I got a plan. Turns out his plan is this little powder experiment thing, right? So he puts powder all over the floor. Like, clearly he's just like, probably not Googling at this point in 2007, but
2007, YouTube existed.
yeah, okay. He's probably looking up little things like how to deal with ghosts. Like,
Yeah, so he's pretty much trying to figure out if this ghost or demon or whatever would leave footprints.
yeah,
So he puts powder all over upstairs.
Trying to get
hallway.
physical evidence.
yeah.
Right.
And she's like, you're a fucking idiot. When this doesn't work, I'm calling the demonologist. And he fucking tells her, babe, just take a deep breath, pop a pill. Nobody comes in my house and fucks with my girlfriend and get away with it. Like, okay, cool,
She's
bro.
like, pop a pill.
Yeah, like, go fuck yourself, man. He's like, whatever, I'm gonna fucking solve this problem. And she laughs at him, obviously, like exactly what he deserves. So now we cut to, we got the shot again, night number 17. It's October 4th, 2006. We get the time-lapse thing again to 3:15 a.m., where, once again, as always, we hear our hum. And then the powdery footprints come over next to the bed, and I noticed almost immediately, these are crazy-ass footprints.
Yeah, they're not like...
They're like chicken dinosaur
Yeah,
prints.
they
They're
look like a velociraptor walk through the bedroom.
It's not fucking human feet at all.
Right.
Oh, man. That was messed up. I think there's a noise at this point. They wake up. They're kind of exploring down the hallway trying to see where the prints are leading. And Katie fucking drops the fucking, it's a trap.
Yeah, she does. She does say it's a trap.
But this is where they notice the attic access is open. Ooh, shit. I don't think anybody's been up there yet.
It's not a ghost. It's just a squatter.
It's just a squat. Don't worry about it. We'll put some food up there once a day for him. It'll be fine. So Mika looks, and she keeps telling him, like, oh, hey, I don't want you to go up there. He's like, I'm not going to go up there. I'm just going to look. And then, of course, he ends up going up there anyway.
Hold the camera, babe.
Right.
Tilt it up. Tilt it up.
This is where he drops his be right back, actually.
When he disappears into the attic for a second.
Mm-hmm. And then, yeah, this part pissed me off, too, because, like, what are you doing, man? She's calling for you. Say something to her. Respond to her, because she's freaking the fuck out down there.
Yeah, he's like doing, I took it as he was doing it on purpose. He's like, you know what, I'm going to fuck with her a little bit.
She calls him like 5 or 6 times before
Yeah.
he's finally like, I'm fine.
I'm okay.
Like, she was getting ready to ascend the fucking ladder and go get him. He's just a fucking dick, man.
Yeah. We're gonna have a separate podcast, everybody, about how much we hate Mika.
Right. Or just some fucking a therapy session to just de-escalate our emotions.
Talk about how much we hate douchebag guys.
After talking about fucking Mika. So he ends up finding a burned picture of Katie from her old house that burned down. And apparently it was directly over their bed in the attic. None of those things are good. She mentions this picture shouldn't fucking exist.
Yeah, she said she hasn't seen it for 15 years, so
Yeah.
where did this picture come from?
This burned up in the fire just like the rest of our shit.
Right.
How in the fuck do you have this?
It was at this moment Nick pooped a little bit.
This was honestly, yeah, one of the more stirring moments.
Yeah, I was shook at this. I was like, oh, God. Like, the picture's over her bed. It's got the fucking burn edges from the fire. Like, it is completely unnatural that this is here.
Oh, yeah.
Listen, man, I like ghosts and stuff, but you start to get demonic with it, I'm fucking out of there.
So she starts freaking out again, and he's like, babe, don't worry about it. I'm in control. And she's like, no, you are fucking powerless.
Yeah.
You're an idiot. You need to stop talking. She's like, this is it. I'm calling Dr. Avery's. Unfortunately, he wasn't there. Turns out he was out of the country. So instead, she calls Dr. Frederick's back. And then we get to wait until the next day to find out how that pans out. But in the meantime, we've got our classic shot. We've got night number 18, which, in retrospect, by the end of this, we're getting close to we're close to death here, basically. October 5th, 2006, 3:53 a.m., we get the hum come back. The light downstairs turns on. And then we have footsteps ascending the stairs, and then they turn back off. At which point, Mika is alerted. He gets up, and he's, kind of getting out of the bed to go see what's going on, but in the middle of him standing up from the bed, we get running footsteps coming up, and then the door fucking slams. Oh my God, talking about pooping a little, this is probably the first part that got me to that point.
Such a good scare, like, because it's just so sudden, it fucking bolts up the stairs and slams the door shut.
And it's relentless in this moment too, because not only, like, it doesn't end there. As soon as he hands Katie the camera again, and then he reaches for the door, as soon as he does, bam, another slam.
I just fell off my chair.
Did I get you a little bit there, Nick?
Yeah, I think
This movie spooked me.
Mika is still unsure of what's happening, but still not showing that he's scared because he yells out, "Show yourself," which I think would be the last thing that I would do in this situation.
Yeah, that's the last thing I am saying for sure.
Yeah, what in the hell, man? So they go out and kind of investigate, and while they're out in the hallway trying to figure out what the fuck's going on, the bedroom door slams again with them on the outside.
Yep. Now they're unsure if the upstairs or the downstairs is safe.
He reaches for the door again. Again, there's more bangs on the door. Like, fuck
It like
me,
rattles.
Man. Oh, does it?
Yeah, I wrote down the door handle rattles while he's
Like someone's
holding
kind of
it.
shaking it from the other side. Okay.
Like it's legitimately taunting him is what I wrote.
Yeah. We do get some more like demonic noises here.
There's like a slurping sound. I noticed. I was like, that's unsettling.
Right? Katie's just begging Mika to leave. Like, she does not. She's done.
She's crying. She's full on having a panic attack. She's like, we need to get the fuck out of here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we end this scene with them holding each other on the bed.
Yeah.
Not even going to sleep because they're so rattled from what just happened. This is the biggest experience that they've had. So,
and it continues into the next day where clearly it's getting worse, because when he goes down to like console her a little bit, she's just like, when he comes down, he wakes up alone. She's downstairs on the couch. He goes to try to console her, and she's just like staring off into the distance like, I'm fucking done with this.
She's like, I didn't sleep.
And in the middle of talking about this, there's another bang from upstairs. Yet again, we hear glass kind of crunch on this one. And Mika runs upstairs, and he's like, oh, I'm going to check the mirrors. Okay, good call, I guess.
Bloody Mary.
Nothing is wrong with the mirrors at this point. And Katie notices at first, oh shit, it's actually our picture. hanging up in the hallway of the two of them. It's smashed. The glass on it is cracked, and Mika's face is scratched out under the glass still. That was kind of interesting.
Yeah, dude, it's so unsettling. Fucking any time a movie, a ghost movie, a demon movie, like tries to throw in a scare during the day, really gets me because it just shows like they don't fucking care if it's night. Like,
I was gonna say this demon doesn't give a fuck at this point.
Yeah,
she mentions again, "Oh, it's here. Like right now, I can feel it breathing on me." Did you guys notice her hair gets kind of blown?
Oh no, I did not see that.
Yeah,
I'm watching it again tonight.
When she's standing there, I can feel it breathing on me, and right after that cue, her hair gets kind of blown, and she freaks the fuck out. So yeah, it's happening in the daytime now. Shit is going down. We need the psychic to come back. So they call him. He shows up and fucking leaves immediately.
He immediately pieces out.
He's like, no. I'm walking into this door. Immediately, I can tell that I am not supposed to be here. He does not like me. I'm fucking out. Call the doctor. I'm sorry. It turns out Dr. Avery's is out of the country. He'll be back in a few days, and then he'll take care of your problem. It's fine. You're going to make it. I wouldn't be so sure at that point.
No, I mean, at that point, I get where he's coming from. He's like, I don't fucking want any part of this. But also, like, how can you in good conscience just leave these people alone either?
And Katie is just she's just completely drained. When we cut back to her, she's just crying in bed and inconsolable at this point.
I would be too.
Yeah, I can't blame her in the slightest. So night number 19, we've got October 6th, 2006, 1:33 a.m. The hum starts again, and then we get the little part where the sheets blow up. And I thought that this was the part where she kind of gets like yanked on, but no, it's not yet. It's just like uncovering her foot.
There's one more like quiet night before shit hits the fan.
Right. But it does cut to 3:04 a.m. There's the hum. The hallway light comes on. Yeah. We get a little bit of knocking. And then there's a shadow across the door.
Yeah, I saw that.
The slight shadow on the door.
Got some more noises going on. And then the breathing. And then the hum, obviously, retreats, basically. So the next day, this is when Mika is doing his online research. He finds this website, this like super old school website.
A definite, like, I 100% looked at a website that looked like this when I was a teenager.
On a black background with just some pictures every once in a while. All the fonts the same.
None of it's blended. Like,
it's definitely one of the user-friendly free websites from when we were kids.
For sure, yeah. Definitely anachronistic, though, at this point anyway. Think about this. That was all the rage at that point. In 2007, man, oh, yeah, check this out. The technology we have these days is amazing, you guys.
I remember specifically the website I looked at that looks so similar to this page was like a website on werewolves.
Okay.
I don't know why. Like, I probably like the first time I watched a werewolf movie, and I was like, what is the history of the werewolf or something is what I Googled, and it brought up this fucking site. Literally, it could have been the same site that's in the movie. It's like a black background with like red lettering talking about lycanthropy. And I'm like, okay.
I experienced a similar one at one point. Speaking of slurping noises, it was on the Chupacabra, and there was just like a recording. Oh, we got this fucking wild sound of a Chupacabra and his natural element feeding on a goat. And oh my god, I swear to God, the fucking thing said its own name. First of all, like making these weird noises, like I'm Chupacabra, and then all of a sudden, it kind of gets quiet, and then it's like slurping on a fucking goat as if through a straw. Oh my god.
Love it.
Anyway.
2006 websites, everybody.
So we're talking about Diane on this website that he looks up, and he mentions that, okay, so you remember the other night I was talking about like, oh, hey, might be this name or this name. Turns out I found somebody named Diane. She had the same shit going on that you got going on right now back in the 60s.
The exact same thing.
And it didn't end so well. That's your cue.
Yeah. Creepy.
Yeah, exactly the same as Katie. All the way down to like house fire.
The house burnt down.
Yeah.
Started when she was 8. Like it was detail for detail what happened with Katie.
Right. Suggesting that it's the same demon fucking with Katie now that had Diane before.
Katie doesn't like this. at all.
No.
Katie actually
would you?
freaks out about comparing the two. And then they kind of get into it, arguing again, go figure. And if we thought Mika was a jerk before,
Jesus Christ.
This is when he really
now
shows his colors.
decides to tell her, why don't you go and hang out with your friend upstairs?
Yeah, he literally tells her, this is your fault anyway. I didn't bring this thing into the house. You did.
Right.
Fuck you, dude. Are you kidding me? And then we cut to her fucking just collapsed on the floor upstairs crying. And at this point, he's like, oh, God damn, okay. My bad, babe.
I suck.
I'm sorry. You
guess
didn't do
I
anything
fucked
wrong.
up.
Yeah, this isn't your fault. I'm sorry. You know, whatever. Fuck off, Mika. So after that little bit, we get night number 20, 10/7/06. It's 4:31 a.m. We've got the hum. And then Katie gets fucking pulled out of bed, dragged
Yanked.
down the hall.
By her feet.
Holy fucking
Yep.
shit. I remember the first time I saw this when I watched this movie for the first time. I was just beside myself like, oh my God,
Yeah.
dude.
So real, like just the, you know, I mean, they're probably fucking yanking her with like a wire, you know, and she's just fucking being pulled down this hallway. I thought she banged her head like on the corner of the door.
I was thinking so too. When she first fell out of the bed, I assumed, because she kind of like, obviously she's not like bracing herself or holding herself up or anything. I thought she kind of whacked her head on the way down to the floor.
Yeah, and then she's just fucking screaming for Mika.
Yeah, wouldn't you be?
Yeah, no. She's in the right here. I'm not like giving her shit. I'm not Mika.
Yeah, just the craziest screams. Oh my God.
She like, you can talk about a scream queen. Damn,
Right.
Like, she kills it in this
Oh,
scene.
yeah.
It crossed my mind too. Watching this, thinking, wow.
Yeah, I did like look up a little bit of like her and Mika's like IMDb contributions or whatever. She's not in a lot. Mika's in even less. Apparently, Katie has moved over to more directorial things these days.
Oh,
So
good for her.
Yeah, that's cool. So she's pulled out of bed and down the hall screaming for Mika. Mika finally gets his shit together and notices something's going on, starts running over to the door to get her, and the door fucking slams in his face. He opens it, runs out into the hallway, and apparently he just fucking has a tug of war with this demon, using Katie as the rope, and he's like freaking out. Fucking, we can see everything happening in the distance, and he's like screaming, let her go, you know. Finally he ends up getting her. I did want to mention real quick, before she starts getting dragged, we do see the shadow on the door again.
Yeah, you see like, when you see it the first time, it's just kind of like a mist, and this time like it fully looks like a form of a humanoid creature.
Right.
Yeah.
Humanoid is a good way to put that. We know we got some weird feet going on.
Yeah.
At least, but so yeah, he finally gets her away from the demon, and they both just run back into the room. She falls to the floor, and neither of them know what the fuck to do. I mean, what do you do?
Yeah, at this point, I mean, it's at this point in my life, I would be like, yep, that's game over. Like,
Right.
there's nothing I'm doing to fix this.
But this is the point where they do decide to be proactive about it, finally. And they decide that they're going to leave, as if that's going to fucking help. Frederick's already told you it's not going to. It's after you. It doesn't care about the space you're in. Katie ends up having a bite mark on her back, and Mika, of course, has to get a shot of it, which, you know, I'm glad for.
And zooms in.
That's not so like, it's a vaguely human-shaped mouth-ish.
They're square teeth. It's not like they're pointed or anything.
But they're kind of like random position, like jagged all over the place.
It's like a big mouth too. I'd say it's a big bite.
Really wide.
You know, yeah.
Yeah.
So human-esque for sure, but
Right.
nobody's sure what it is.
But it's not just Mika being kinky.
Right.
No, it's fucking Ted. We find out in other sequels, I believe the demon's name is Toby. It's Toby being kinky. So the car is packed. They're ready to go. Katie is sitting on the floor, back in her like catatonic state she was in on the swing before. Turns out she's holding a cross in her palm and gripping it so fucking hard that her palm is bleeding all over the
Fucking
place.
cutting into her skin.
Yeah. Oof.
My God. And this is where I made a note about Mika's feet being way too present in this movie. I've got a close-up of them. Mika screams a bunch of times, oh, I've had it with this shit! Ah! And he's like just yelling all over the place, reacting in a way that no human being would. He might be the demon, I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's taking hold of both of them at this point.
But he decides he's going to light a fire. He's like, oh, this is where I'm putting my foot down. I'm lighting a fire in the fireplace, and then burns the
Yeah,
cross.
throws the cross that she was
Why
gripping
the
in there.
fucking cross?
I think you might be onto something.
Why not the Ouija board?
No. Like you said, like Mika might be the demon.
Oh.
I think you might be onto something that, like,
Well, that was a joke.
I understand that you took it or you meant it as a joke, but I'm saying, like, I think that was legitimately the demon throwing the cross in the fire.
Huh. Okay.
Maybe
Or
I'm wrong.
at least influencing his decision to.
Yeah.
Because, if you're going to burn anything, why not the camera? Why not the Ouija board?
Yeah.
If anything.
The
not
demon
fucking,
book you have.
Yeah, the demon book. Anything but the fucking cross.
Yeah.
See, and I think you might be right, too, because if it's slowly getting Katie, why isn't it slowly getting Mika, too?
Yeah, I think a little bit in the sequels we end up kind of getting insight into the ties, like, to the family and stuff. I think even Diane maybe ends up being sort of an offshoot relative in some way.
Okay.
So this is really, I feel like, a turning point for the movie, too.
Yeah, we're in the third act at this point.
So he throws the cross into the fireplace, and then it cuts to Katie in bed, and now everything has changed.
Acting weird as fuck.
Katie doesn't want to leave anymore.
Her performance is so good in this scene. She's just like, babe, I think you're right. It is going to go away.
Yeah, I don't want to leave.
How
what do you mean?
conveniently after the cross is burned, though.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Almost like that could have been the last thing that she was holding on to. Maybe
last bit of protection.
Her death grip on it,
Yeah.
Because
wow.
as soon as that cross is burned, she's not Katie anymore.
Right. Yeah, she's I don't want to leave. Will you stay with me? It's better if we stay.
Yeah, begs Mika to stay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's like, okay, I don't know what the fuck this is about. And then as soon as he walks away, we do end up hearing the hum again. And then Katie's got this like distorted, like double voice, and she's like, I think we'll be okay now. And then it's
She closes her eyes and
layered.
smiles.
Smiling.
yes. Oh my god. Creepy. And then here we fucking go, man. Night 21. It's October 8th, 2006 at 1:27 a.m. We got the loud hum coming back as always. Katie sits up like Michael Myers once again behind Laurie Strode. Every movement she does at this point is robotic.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Like she's no longer in control. It's almost as if she's being like marionetted. She's a fucking puppet.
Yeah.
That this demon is now controlling. She gets back up and she ends up walking over to Mika's side of the bed and she's staring at him. And she does that thing. The blanket ends up getting pulled off of him. And then an hour and 45 minutes passes all the way to 3:14 a.m. And Katie ends up going downstairs. And once again, when she leaves, the hum leaves with her. And then she just starts screaming.
That blood-curdling scream we heard earlier.
So fucking good.
Oh my god. Blood curdling is definitely the way to go about it right there.
Playing tricks.
So Mika runs downstairs and you hear a little bit of a struggle. He says, oh my God, at one point. I think at that point he's realizing she's got the knife. Mm-hmm. She offs him at this point and everything is completely silent until we hear footsteps. We hear the hum coming back. We see a little bit of a shadow in the hallway. Mm-hmm. And then it's just kind of standing there for a second. And then all of a sudden, Mika is thrown
Fucking
into the camera.
Launched into the camera.
Oh my god. And so he thumps. I'm actually really surprised that the camera didn't crumple to the floor at this point. Seems like it should have, with a body getting hurled into it.
Right.
I
think this is the best jump scare of the entire movie, I feel like.
Yeah.
With Mika's body. That's
Yeah,
just
it
the
is.
last thing you expect to come flying at the camera. You've heard the noises all movie, heard things moving around, lights on and off, but then
You're
get a full-size man.
And
Yeah.
the entire event up to this point has put everyone on edge just by the sheer nature of what it is. We know something's going on as the audience. She goes downstairs and you've got the screaming. All of a sudden it's silent. So you're just in this mode where you're like,
What the fuck's gonna happen?
you know what happened, but then it's not cutting away.
Yeah.
So you're like, what?
We're not done.
We're not done here. What the fuck else could possibly happen? So yeah, Mika's body's thrown into the camera, and when it is, then we've got bloody Katie standing there in the doorway. And this is one of many endings that they had. So bloody Katie standing in the doorway, she kind of robotically, again, plods over to him. She goes down to her knees, and then immediately she kind of like leans over close to him and she's like staring at him.
She's like slithery. She is
yeah.
like kind of moving her body like a snake and like kind of on all fours, like.
Which a snake would be, demonic imagery, obviously. Mm-hmm. But yeah, she like stares at him real close, and then she's kind of sniffing him for a minute, and she sees the camera, and well, I guess maybe we should be saying it's not even Katie seeing the camera. This is now the demon, full on.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
one of these endings is she sees the camera and then she goes and stands up and she kind of looks at it and then her face distorts into that demonic figure and then we cut. Is that what we all watched the theatrical here? That's what everybody saw?
The ending I saw last night was Katie lunged at the camera.
That's what I saw.
Yeah. The distorted face, it lunges at the camera and then we cut to black.
Oh, okay. Yeah, she like smiles weird and
Yeah.
yeah, and then she fucking like just like there's a noise and she lunges at the camera.
Demon face.
Yep.
That's what we got. The one alternate ending that I had on the DVD that I watched, which Jason actually supplied me with, thank you. Instead of whatever time it was that I just mentioned, 1:27 a.m., it cuts to them in bed at midnight. And it does the thing where Katie wakes up, stares for 3 hours and 15 minutes, and then she goes downstairs, screams. Her voice ends up in this moment when she's screaming, kind of melding with the demon's voice, and it's really fucking creepy. Mika's killed. Bloody Katie comes back upstairs, and then instead she has this knife she's holding that she killed Mika with, and she comes a couple of steps into the room, she stops, she turns, she closes the door, she walks up to the camera, and I think she smiles a little bit, and then she slits her own throat.
Oh, God.
Yeah, which I'm glad that they didn't go with, because what we get in the theatrical ending is like Mika is killed, the distorted face into the camera, and then it ends up cutting to another title card where it says, Mika's body was discovered on October 11th, 2006, and Katie's whereabouts remain unknown. Mm-hmm. Which, we're leaving it open-ended. We got sequel setup going on, which I'm definitely glad for. Apparently there were a couple of other endings, one of which she was sitting, they did the time-lapse thing, and she was sitting in the room for 2 days.
Oh.
And then the cops end up coming and see her there, and I don't know if she does anything to provoke it, but I think they end up killing her, which that would have been another one where we're not,
too finite, yeah.
Yeah, too finite, for sure. I didn't really care for the demon face, honestly. Like, I kind of would have preferred for it to just be this residing within Katie's body. I don't really give a shit about, a goofy effect on her face at the end. But I did notice that we're still trying to lock into this is real footage after it cuts to black, and then it gives us those two little title cards with the information about Mika's discovery and Katie's whereabouts. We just are hanging out in blackness.
Black. There's no credits to this movie at all.
No credits. There's black, and we've also got the hum going on along with it. There are credits that do pop up, but they're literally in the last 3 seconds. And it's just a quick little Oren Peli, Jason Blum, whoever did this, and then it's just the cast, and then that's it.
See, my cut didn't have that.
No?
Maybe it's just like the rental cut that Amazon had, because I ended up having to rent it on Amazon. It was just black. I had the hum, and then it cut. Yeah. And it was just like, rent.
See, that's good.
P2.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not usual. I mean, we have a few other movies that have done stuff like that, Texas Chainsaw, but throwing the whole reality into it, they had a lot of people fooled. It's
like a detective had these tapes in the evidence locker, right? And then put this, cut them all together to release so that the story got out or something.
Yeah.
Right. Which I think it was brilliant. I like it.
Yeah. Well, I looked at the box office on this, and this movie was made for like $1.5 million, and this movie made over $100 million just U.S.
$1.5 million? Well, I heard 15,000.
1 second.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I was telling people for a long time. Oh yeah, you spent like $10,000 on this. I think I actually got confirmation on a $15,000 budget, which
I think that's Blair Witch that you're thinking of.
Yeah.
I think Blair Witch had $15,000.
Okay, we're getting confirmation.
I'm pulling it up. 1 second. Either way, it made a fuck ton of money.
Either way, this is all fucking profit.
I remember hearing 10 or 15 for Blair Witch, and then it was almost the same thing like when Blair Witch was at the MTV Video Music Awards stuff for it. People were surprised when they seen the actors on the stage. Like, whoa, wait a minute.
Right.
Okay, no, he's right. I must have, it was 1 a.m. when I got done watching this the other day. The demon was going to come to my house in 2 hours, so I was preparing to go to bed. Yeah, no, he's right. $15,000 is the estimated budget. Opening weekend alone, it made $77,000. And by the end of its theatrical run, just in the U.S., it made $107 million.
Yeah, and that $15,000 is like the price of the camera and then
Right.
fucking like sound design and editing.
Yeah, gotta be. I mean, what else is he spending money on? So he already, they made $50,000 on it. and then they made literally $100 million on it. And that's when, like, it wouldn't surprise me if, like, the producers are all sitting around in a room, they realize what they have, and they're like, you know what? We can't kill Katie. And so, yeah, total in worldwide box office, it made $193.4 million total.
Oren Peli is just that Leonardo DiCaprio meme where he's just like...
That's why he never had to direct anything again, because he made $100 million on his only movie he ever directed.
Go out on top, right?
Yeah. So I mean, I think it's no brainer. Like, we all love this movie. Like, for as cheap and it can be a little campy, like it's effective. It's fucking scary. Mm-hmm. Like, I wrote down, I gave this one a 4 out of 5.
I was just gonna say, I wrote down 3 out of 5 Ouija boards.
Okay.
I think I'm moving that up to 4 right now.
See, this is where the 5 scale, I mean, we jumped to 10 on the Get Out episode. Mm-hmm. So I would give it more, like, a more realistic take would be like a 6.5 out of 10. But because the 1 to 5, I had to put it 4 because I liked this more than Hellraiser. And I think this is more effective. I think it's more scary, where Hellraiser's more gross.
We absolutely don't have to hold ourselves to a 5-point rating by any means. Yeah. If we're switching it to a 10, yeah, I would go for 7 for sure.
Mm-hmm.
See, and I'm thinking I'm on the opposite for this one. You know, I'm thinking right down the road, 5 out of 10, simply because of what it's building for coming later. Mm-hmm. I think as a standalone, and I think it's because I've seen a lot of the other ones, I just don't like this one. Okay. I feel like this turns into one of the franchises where part 2 is better than part 1.
But they already had the base to go off of.
Exactly, and that's where I said I think it deserves the 5. But overall, if it was a standalone movie, I'm not that crazy about it.
Okay. I was going to say, I thought that this could have been a standalone movie, but I'm fine with the franchise. Like I said, I'm a sucker for found footage. There's a great vibe in this whole thing, partially due to the viral marketing of it and the setup of, oh, this is police evidence, this is a true story. You know, you're always going to put people in a different sort of frame of mind when you're saying something like that. But
yeah, you're going into a different headspace.
Honestly, I think the special effects and the sound design are the true stars of this movie.
Sound design for sure. I mean, that was one of the notes that I had for my takeaways was, I mean, like, just the way they were able to cut that, you know, whether they had to splice the sound over, however they did that. I don't know enough about how that's done, but
by the end of it, I don't give a fuck about Katie and Mika's relationship. I just want to see these scenes where these things are happening.
Yeah, because, I mean, everything just sounds like it's right there. Everything just sounds like when you hear those footsteps come up the door, or come up to the door. I mean, I know there's probably just some dude standing right outside the camera just stomping on one step.
Right.
But I'm sitting there like, I fucking believe a ghost is running up those stairs, man. Like, it's just so good.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, like I said, I haven't seen any of the sequels, so I'm excited to go down that road because, I mean, this one captured me like this. So if Jason's saying the rest are better, I'm excited.
I think this is a pretty solid franchise. Yeah, like some installments are not so great, obviously. I can't remember specifically what, but there are fantastic installments. Like you mentioned, the marked ones earlier. That one is balls to the wall the whole time.
Still scary.
Mm-hmm. I remember being underwhelmed by Next of Kin.
Yeah, I mean, and it's at the point now too where there's so many movies that they're kind of reaching now, but there's definitely some good in between the beginning and now. Mm-hmm. And I think the bigger thing too is they did a lot with almost nothing.
Right.
You know, it's hard to do.
Yeah, really impressive. Some shit in this movie is ridiculous and annoying, namely Mika and his crazy feet. But I mean, it's good and tension-filled throughout, especially at night, obviously. Overall, this is, a fairly strong recommendation for me. I mean, if nothing else, to experience the found footage aspect, see what they did with this. This is worth watching just to honor it for what it was.
Yeah, I'd say it's definitely a must-watch. My lower rating shouldn't deter from the fact that it's not a good movie. It's definitely a great movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
All right, boys. Well, I think this was another good episode, and we can wrap it up about there. Next time on the program, like I said earlier, I do believe we are doing The Exorcist, which, holy hell, are we ready for that? I don't know.
It's going to be a good one.
That's one of my favorite movies of all time. I watched it for the first time when I was 7.
You're stronger than me.
We'll get into all of that. But until then, obviously, you can follow us at Cinebytes Pod on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, or X. You can support the show at cinebytespod.buzzsprout.com. We are listed on all major streaming platforms. You can listen to us wherever you like. And until next time, I'm Dusty Lane.
I'm Nick Cummins.
And I'm Jason Mitchell.
And we've been the Cinebytes. And as always, remember, dreams are fleeting. Only nightmares last forever.
Killer, Mommy. Killer.
I bid you well.